Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Green Room Podcast. I'm Matthew Brune, and joining me once again is Colin Mitchell, looking spry, wearing the same shirt that he wore last podcast.
Was it the last podcast or was it a different podcast?
Whatever podcast it was, it's the
A
same shirt.
podcast.
It's going through one of his 5 shirts.
Yeah, even though you didn't recognize this shirt.
We'd love to see it. Colin, we have a few things to talk about here.
I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I'm fired up.
All right.
This is different. You know, when you get a midday podcast by me, it's like I hit like overdrive, like I'm not just starting up, I'm warmed up.
Okay, you're warmed up. This is because whenever we do the 9:30 ones, you're lacking a little bit.
Yeah, so. I definitely am. The focus isn't there. But it's trying to be there. But
good. I'm glad. Well, this is a 7 o'clock podcast, and we're doing it on Thursday night because we forgot to do it on Thursday morning. But there's a few things I want to hit on, and then we'll get to the FAU game and everything. Real quickly, I want to start with. I didn't run this by you at all, but start with Seth Luttrell saying they dominated Memphis on paper. Did you feel like they dominated that game on paper?
All right. How many times has any coach said they dominated someone on paper and it was after winning a game?
After winning a game or after losing a game?
After winning a game, how many times has a coach said we dominated them on paper? Zero. The answer is zero because it's a cop-out. Damn it. Dominated on paper. I'm going to have to pull this. I didn't even have the Memphis game up. I forgot he even said that. That's disgusting. Let's go over some numbers, Bruni. Let's go over some numbers real quick.
Okay. They outgained them for sure because part of the reason they outgained them and part of the reason why the stats are so overwhelming is because of the 2 pick sixes and because of the fumble in the short field. So there was just more time North Texas was on the field. Like mathematically, they just had the ball more because they gave the ball away.
Yeah. So I mean, we can start there. Defensively, North Texas, lost on paper. They didn't have. I don't think they had one turnover. They turned over Seth one time, and they had 2, and they got a touchdown on both of them. No, on one of them. Sorry, you can hear that. Let me turn that off.
Yeah, we can hear that.
That's sad. I'm on my laptop now. I'm on my second monitor. Second, we go to the rushing attack. They destroyed North Texas in rushing. 193 yards. Rushing. North Texas only had 102 yards. We can talk about passing, but Ani had to throw the ball 49 times, and Seth Hennigan only had to throw 29 times. I mean, who's winning on paper? Who's winning on paper, Bruni?
It's definitely not overwhelming. I think you made a good point with the rushing yards. I mean, 4.5 yards per carry for Memphis. Like, you don't leave that game and be like, oh, our run defense was stout. Like, no, if anything, the pass defense was good. You take what you can.
But that looked more like it was on Seth than it was. Like, watching the game, I mean, and I could be wrong. I'm not a coach. It looked more like it was on Seth than it was.
Talking about Seth Hennigan?
Yeah, like in terms of him not doing as well. Like, it looked like an off game to me. But he didn't need he didn't need. I mean, he had 2 touchdowns still, and he didn't need to do anything like Austin needed to try to, overcome North Texas's defense. And then obviously he threw, picks, but I don't understand the paper thing unless we're talking about the 371 yards that Austin had with his 2 picks, or if we're talking about his 3 touchdowns to Seth Hennigan's 2. I mean, no running back got more than 46 yards. I don't.
My favorite part about this is that we are just completely discounting turnovers. Like, that's not the most important. Like, possession of the ball is the most important thing you have.
Oh, right. Of course.
Game. And we're just like, well, outside of the turnovers, we dominated the game. It's like outside of us losing the most important thing.
Yeah, exactly.
We dominated the game. We threw the ball for way more yards than them. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Except when we didn't throw the ball for more yards, when we turned the ball over, then it wasn't good. But other than that, I mean, it was great.
What's funny is North Texas actually had 5 minutes less possession.
And we're no, that's crazy.
Isn't it?
It's like Memphis went 2 of 12 on third downs. Luttrell mentioned that in his presser, and I watched Luttrell's presser. That's how you know I'm invested in this
you're into this
right here. Okay, he said we held them to 2 of 12 on third downs. North Texas went 3 of 15 on third downs.
Yep.
So who's winning this pissing contest right now? It's like you didn't win the game.
It's like it's not even who can piss longer. It's like who accidentally pisses shorter. It's
like the guy tripped and like fell down, and you're just like, I win. I'm the best.
I win.
Even though you still didn't win somehow. All right. But anyways, I want to start with that. Second thing I want to talk about was man who will not be named. I always like watching North Texas Twitter, get into it a little bit just because it doesn't happen that often, especially now that I'm gone. Not here to stir the beef anymore.
Yeah.
But anyways, a man who will not be named said a bowl season is not average for North Texas. UNT has played 27 seasons since returning to FBS 1995, and UNT has played in 10 bowl games in that span. Getting to a bowl game is a well above average season for North Texas. Okay. So I read that and I was like, okay. I feel like you're doing a lot of things with that. You're taking every season as the same, which obviously,
like in terms of goals, right?
Yeah, which obviously should not be the case. Like Seth Luttrell's first year should not be held to the same standard as his 7th year or his 6th year, obviously. So there's obvious flaws in that regard. But then I did what I feel like we always talk about in this podcast, and I don't like counting pockets or anything like that. But Seth Luttrell is still the highest paid coach in Conference USA, and when you are comparing him to those other schools, he obviously has fallen short. We've talked about this many times. We don't need to rehash this.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about this. I want to think about it this way. This is how I want fans to think about it. It's not that getting to 6-6 or getting to 7-5 wouldn't be a fine season, because it would be okay. It would be cool. But in year 7, when the past 3 seasons you've combined to go, the past 3 seasons and you combine this season, his last 40 games, he's 16-24.
Yeah.
UAB 26-13, La Tech 19-20, Western 26-17, Marshall 24-15, Middle Tennessee 17-21. Okay. Remember Houston, UCF, BYU, Cincinnati, all these teams, those teams are going to the Big 12 next year. TCU at one time was a mid-major school, elevated up. My point is, it has to start somewhere. And if you just continue to kick the can down the road, like, 6-6 bowl game, cool. 5-7 bowl game, cool. 5-5 bowl game, cool. If we just keep kicking the can down the road and accepting mediocrity with the resources that are in place, I feel like you're doing a disservice to this school, to this fan base, and to everybody in and around it. So I just wanted to say my piece on that, because this isn't the same thing as Southern Miss, right? This is not the same resources as FIU or FAU. North Texas has greater resources than these schools.
Not only that, they have greater goals. They've spoken their goals. They don't want to just get to bowl games. Seth's first year here, he came here to win championships. Well, they've only been to one championship game and they got blown out by FAU. Can't win a bowl game. Don't even compete in any of the bowl games except for against Army that first year. So it's not that it's above average or below average for UNT over the course of however long. It's that North Texas is setting goals for itself. It's to be a high caliber mid-major school across all sports. And right now, football is currently the only one lacking. We talked about this before, is that when you set goals like that for yourself, when you have the funds, like you just said, the resources you just had, and when you're moving into a new conference to continue to push towards those goals, you can't just say the same thing. Well, it's a bowl game. Well, it's a bowl game. Well, it's a bowl game. Because then what is Seth playing for here? He has how many wins? 2 wins right now. He only needs 4 more if we're going to count 6 wins as the thing. And then is that just every year? Woo. And one of those wins every year is always an FCS school. Yeah. So, mediocrity is not what the goals of this program are.
And I would heavily argue, and I don't want to get too deep into this, maybe spend like another minute on it. I would heavily argue that the standard has changed over the past 6-7 years. Like since Luttrell took over, the standard has completely changed. And part of that is because of Luttrell. And
in terms of what? In terms of
success.
For football or for the athletic department?
Football.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I'm only talking about football right now.
Yeah.
When Seth took over, from 2016 to 2022, the standard for football has raised because of the money that has been put into it, the recruiting base that you have, the going to a new conference, and because we've seen there be some success here.
Yeah.
And so, rightfully so, you should continue to raise your standards as you continue to put money into it. Just like anything, if you are investing in something, you can speak to this better than I can. If you're investing in something and it does not return your investment,
yeah,
what are we doing here? So I don't want to keep the same standard. I want to eventually see my money continue to go up and be used for something that will pay off at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, like you just said, you never invest in something for it to just be the same. Because what's the point? Exactly. You're wasting money, exactly. And that's not the game any school is playing. There you go, ROI, and that's not the game any school is playing anywhere. So, yeah, it's not smart to say that just because it's not the average. It's like saying, I'll bring in a Lions thing. The Lions have never won 2 playoff games since 1950. Are we just gonna go off the average and be like, hey, they get 4 wins every year, and that's above average?
Yeah.
Like, is that the kind of? I mean, that's the game we're playing right now. If that tweet holds true, hey, they get to bowl games, so that should just be they never get to bowl games. That should just be the standard. That should just be it.
And it's not even like North Texas on the trail has gone from like 4 wins to 5 wins to 6 wins to 7 wins and like continuing to progress. No, it went 5 to 9 to 9 to 4 to 5 and so on and so forth.
In a just insane fashion.
Yes,
I mean it wasn't even like the worst, most sad 4-win season you could have
ever. God, rest in peace to that team. All right. I wanted to get those 2 things out of the way. Got them done in 12 minutes. I'm happy with that. Let's talk some FAU. Personally, the only FAU game I've watched this year is when they dismantled Charlotte in week 0. And
dismantled.
I bet on FAU, and they completely came through. And Charlotte looked awful, and FAU just walked down the field every single time. Nkosi Perry at quarterback's really good. They have good talent players. I mean, I was talking to a friend about this the other day, and it's just like I always believe in FAU to recruit Florida well, and if you can recruit Florida well, you're going to have a decent team. And that's what Lane Kiffin did. That's what Willie Taggart has done a decent job of to this point. So they have some high major transfers came down to. And overall, I mean, they're a really solid team. So I don't know what else to say. They almost beat Purdue last week, 28-26. I did not watch that game. I believe it was during the same time as LSU or maybe a little before that. But, I mean, it's an FAU team that only lost by 2 to Purdue, and Purdue is a pretty solid team this year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what we're looking for here because we thought that this could have been one of the wins. This is one of our 7 for the year. North Texas.
Well, yeah, especially now that UNLV is a loss.
Well, but yeah, I mean, there's already 1, but you know what I mean. Like this was going to be win number, I guess, 4 at this point if everything had tracked. Is that
right? Is that true?
Yeah, it would have been UTEP, Texas Southern, UNLV, and then FAU was the next one. And FAU is favored by 3.5. ESPN's BPI has them have a 65% chance of winning. And I think the most glaring stat for me coming into this game is that North Texas allows 38 points per game, but they only score 32 points. Whereas FAU averages 32 points per game, but only allows 26 points. And that's going to be, I think, the theme for the rest of the season, especially coming into the Memphis game. We said the defense is going to be the issue. And although you could argue it could have been the offense more so, you can't be giving up 38 points per game and expect to win very many games.
Yeah, I'm looking up the FAU EPA right now. I like referencing them for advanced stats sometimes. Overall, 67th in the country as a team. Their offense is in the top 30 in passing, 83rd in rushing. So solid there. And then around 78th in run defense and 94th in pass defense. So it's average, solid team, nothing crazy. But do I expect North Texas to go out there and keep in mind this game is at home. This is a home game. You can't lose too many of these home games. I mean, losing the UNLV on the road, I will still not excuse it, but at least it's on the road. This is a home game.
Yeah.
This is, and I put FAU and like UNLV on a similar tier as far as quality goes, even though UNLV has looked pretty good this year. So it's just another game of like UNLV, Memphis, FAU. I look at those three teams all on the same tier in terms of college football. I would put them all in like the, I don't know, 85 to 100 range, something like that.
Here's an issue I foresee for North Texas. We've talked about this before. Is that North Texas not going to their highly rated receivers out of high school? So North Texas leading receiver Roderick Burns, obviously good receiver. He has 333 yards on 19 receptions and 1 touchdown. FAU has a dude, I don't know his first name, something L. Wester, 29 receptions, 329 yards, but he has 7 touchdowns. So this dude is their go-to in the red zone. And I feel like that's going to be just tough.
LeJontay Wester. There you go.
Yeah, I just
shout out LeJontay.
His longest reception this year is, I guess, 42 yards. But that's going to be, I think that's going to be the difference for North Texas. I think when North Texas faces a team that's really good in the red zone, is able to execute in the red zone in both ways in terms of rushing and passing, that's where they're going to get got. And I foresee that being a pretty big issue.
Yeah, I'm trying to look up LeJontay because you have me interested in this man. Now.
He had 3 touchdowns against Purdue.
Whew. Yeah. So we'll see. The secondary will still be a question mark with the injuries that they have and with everything. So I don't have huge expectations that they'll get a ton of stops going into this game. I do worry because FAU is pretty potent in the pass game, so we'll see. I mean, it'll be a different attack from UNLV, but if they shut down, if they dominated Memphis on paper, Colin, through the air, so I don't know what to make of that. But all right, you ready to do some picks and predictions?
Yes. You want to go first?
Yes. The only pick I have is over under 58% completion percentage for Austinani. I already have mine written down.
Under.
Okay, I have over.
Over. Okay, I was not going to expect that, especially when he averages 55.2%.
5.2%. That's 55, what
55.2%.
Oh, 55.2. Okay.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, here's mine. Over under. North Texas allows 27.5 points.
That's a tough one. What do you say? Go ahead.
Over. I'm going over.
I think I'm going to say under.
Under?
I'm going to say under.
That's interesting.
If you would have said 28.5, I definitely would have said under. 27.5 is really tough. I'm going to say under.
Okay. Under. And then my last one is going to be over under. Let's go 300 passing yards for Austinani. I guess if you want to do 299.5.
Under.
Under. Okay. I agree. Under.
Okay. Writing this down right now. Both under. FAU over under 27.5. Matthew says over. Colin says no. I'm sorry. Colin says
swapped.
Over.
Yeah.
Colin says over. Matthew says
under.
All right. Score predictions. You want to go first? Go ahead.
Yep. Let's go 33-24 FAU.
All right, 33-24.
Yeah.
FAU from Colin.
Yeah.
All right. North Texas will win this game. All right. North Texas feels confident at this point.
I mean, they won on paper, so they have to.
I'm telling you, they've been telling each other this whole week. They're like,
they're walking to the locker room saying, "Hey, we won on paper."
They're feeling confident right now. They're like, you know what, this is it. I think Latrell will keep the locker room like he did last year. I think they'll be okay. I think FAU coming off a Purdue performance might have a letdown on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And North Texas will win this game 34-27. Book it. Write it down.
Okay. Have I won every one of the score predictions?
I don't know. I'm not going to answer that question because I don't know, and I don't know if I've won one or not.
I don't
But there you go. North Texas wins this game. I'm pretty confident in that.
Okay.
And I'm not even memeing. I'm not even joking.
No, I know you're
trolling.
not. I know you're
I'm
not.
legitimately. Don't tell anybody, Colin. I bet on North Texas to win this game.
So you have some vested interest in this.
That's how confident. No. That's how confident I am.
Okay.
That they will win this game.
I hope you lose so you're humbled.
My hard-earned money on the North Texas Mean Green.
We talked about ROI.
ROI.
Yeah.
They will be returning this investment.
If they lose, though, this is the second time they've lost you money this season.
Is it only the second time?
That I know of. I know
no. I won. I bet the under in the North Texas UTEP game.
Yeah, no, but I need something directly related to North Texas' success.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah.
Definitely. I think you bet on UNLV.
I really think they win this game. No joke. I think
this feels like a game that they'll win.
This feels like a game they win.
And
then they lose next week to La Tech.
Which I think was also one of the games we had them winning.
But no, I feel good about this game. I think there's a little bit of a letdown from FAU. If North Texas comes out flat and gets blown out, I will just throw my hands in the air. Like, what are we doing at this point? We should cancel this podcast. We should just start talking basketball.
Here, let's never mind. We can save it if they lose.
They're not going to lose.
I was gonna say we could make a new segment. What does Seth have to do to get fired in the middle of the season? If they got blown out against FAU.
The smoking hot seat. How fast could it happen? I think they win. I think everybody feels good about this game. And I think they play well. So there you go. North Texas, cool. UNT, GMG.
Sounds good.
Always positive on this podcast, Colin.
Amen.
There you go. All right. That's all we have for y'all this week. There's our predictions. We'll have a post-game pod up either Saturday night or Sunday morning. What time is this game? This game is at 3:00 at Apogee. They never play afternoon games at Apogee. That's crazy.
I know.
That's weird. Okay, 3:00, Apogee Stadium. Be there if you want to support the team and support our boy Seth Latrell. We will start talking basketball at some point in the near future. I'll probably have to call. I have to get Coach Mack because I said we're going to get him on early October. So I'll make a call. Colin.
Sounds good.
Make a call. But yeah, thank y'all for joining us. Follow us on Facebook right there, Spotify over there above Colin. Follow our Twitters right there and over there. The YouTube has done great. We appreciate all of y'all.
It's amazing.
Continue subscribing. We're getting however many views, which is like 5-6 times the amount of our subscribers. So if you're not subscribed, we'd appreciate it if you did. But send to a friend, like it, comment, all that good stuff. And we'll talk to y'all later.